Hey, what's up? My content is still transferring, but I think I still have enough space to do this part, and then we will do a deletion activity on my phone. I was telling you about this oak in the club. That's what's good. That I met. Go check out the previous part. Go Melville, some dance establishment joint. I think it was 7th Avenue. You know that funny, like that pumpy joint, like street. Go Melville. I can't tell you which restaurant exactly we were in, but it was pumpy, and it was dark in the club, and that's how I saw this guy, because he was a super yellow bone. Anyway, whatever, he found me, I found him, we hit it off. We had this like very intelligent conversation in the middle of all of this music, and we exchanged numbers. He liked me, and he liked me hard, like right there in the club. You know when a guy contacts you, like you wake up in the morning and find his text message and 2 missed calls. Yeah, he called me straight away type setup thing. The very next day, this dude was what I would imagine to be the best thing that I ever met in a guy. Like, if that guy had not been so classist and so shallow, and if I was still a student at Wits, I likely might have even ended up dating that guy for many years. Like, many years. We were that, you know, when birds of a feather, man. We were smart, both of us, and we could speak the same language. But anyway, let's just move on. He contacts me, and we speak on the phone, and just absolutely hit it off. We absolutely hit it off, right? And we're speaking over the weekend, and then of course he found out that I work at a call center. Call centering, go teleshow. And from that alone, this dude literally went against all of his better judgment and made a decision to completely disregard everything else that we clicked concerning from the moment we met in the club all the way up until here we're speaking now. Like, he worked for KPMG. He was a graduate. He used to be at Wits, right? So he was a student at Wits, graduated with a BCom accounting degree, honors, was taken up by KPMG, one of the best accounting firms in the country. So I suspect that dude is probably a CA today, doing really well, right? And we were able to speak at length about such things because that was not so much my career path, but I had friends who were in that career path, and I was also in myself within a commercial space. I wasn't so much interested in accounting as I was like law. I wanted like a BCom law type thing. That's what I tried to first do, but we could relate on the same level. We had a similar mindset type thing, so we would have been able to have lofty conversations together well into the future about, just that, the future, and gotten along very well. He was also a bit of a protege, like a young academic, he was doing very well. Just 3 or 4 years, and yet he'd already gotten his honors. He'd already graduated and done all that jazz. At that stage, I was kind of pushing paper in corporate for like a year or something because I had to drop out of varsity type thing. So based in Jeffella I told him that story of mine, but based on that, he was like, she's not in my league. Like, he literally imagined me as one who is not in his league now. So you can understand how perfect this guy was, man. The first date that we went on, he decided to overlook the fact that I was a dropout at university or whatever, because he liked me that much. But it got to him eventually. He called me one day when I was at work on lunch, right? No, sorry, I was yet to go on lunch, and so was he, but he contacted me from his office, and he was like, he worked for KPMG, I worked for Teleshore. It's all more or less in the same area, Auckland Park, right? So guys, it was so romantic. Like, frankly, he was like, so what time is your lunch? I told him, and now my lunch is dictated by my call center, whereas he just takes it whenever he feels like this is it now. And he was like, very well, I'll come pick you up at this time. He was doing really well. He'd graduated. He was a smart dude, and he was young as well, right? He's like, I'll come pick you up at your job, and we will drive down to like some little, almost like a hot dog stand, but for the falafel, the fold-overs. Then Melville, and he was like, he just showed it to me on some, I really like the food that they sell there, the fold-overs are there, and we bought these like fold-overs, and we sat on the pavement. Like, it was so simple on the pavement. So given the simplicity of our first date, I could not understand why he was so classist. We sat on the pavement right next to his car, and we had these like, fold-over sandwiches while we spoke about life, and he told me deep things about his life as well, like the fact that he nearly died in a car accident. he was basically dead, and they like resuscitated him, pulled him out of like a squished up car, all that jazz. And I was like, oh my goodness, that means I would have never have met you. And he's like, that would have been a bum. I wouldn't have been. Like, we just got along so well. And I could just pick up, however, that Onanyata, my life. He was underestimating my dropout status, the fact that I was working in a call center. He absolutely disregarded my intelligence, but we were so well united. Like, we got along so well. We were just such a perfect match. And again, like, I can't say this is not black and yellow, bone, I'm a dark girl. So, I mean, like, it just worked, okay? This dude, after that first date, even though it was so quaint and so cute, after those falafels that we had, and him driving me back to work and him going to his offices, his tone on the phone from that day changed from one of a man that deeply respects me and my intelligence and what I have to contribute to the equation, to that of a man who now just wants to have sex with me. He changed his tone. He started talking to me in a very sensual sense on some, it stopped being about let's go on for dinner and lunch and like actual dates that make sense, to being, so when are we going to club again? So when are you going to come over to my place? He picked me up one time. I thought we were going out on a dinner date. This is how we broke up. I thought we were going to go on a dinner date, but instead he picked me up from my house all the way where I stayed, and we drove all the way past restaurants and everywhere, and we like went to his house. I mean, if you want to go pick a chick up at like 7, 8 in the evening without telling her that you're taking her to your house because you've made her dinner there, but you just like go there, and when I get there isn't even any dinner. We're like sitting on a couch, and he's like trying to grope me and whatnot, and I tell him we're not gonna. I ended up telling him we made out, like, yeah, right there on in fact we didn't even kiss, guys. We didn't, because this guy went from being such a gentleman to jerk overnight. And when he tried to jump me, he just was, to him it was like it was a waste. He didn't want to waste vagina, essentially, for lack of a better word. He did not want to waste my lady parts. So for him, it was like I could just cut her off because one get drop out, or I could hit it and then quit it. He went from total gentleman to hit it and quit it. And the climate of changing, the thunderstorm overnight after a sunny day happened like that. It happened overnight. The lack of respect, no more speaking intelligent things, just when am I going to hit that? He wanted to just move on. And I was like, whoa, did you just lose a crush on me that fast? Okay, whatever, dude. So that evening, as soon as we drove past restaurants, drove past any kind of environment where we would go on a proper date, I realized that he was taking me to his apartment to go and I was smart just like him, so I knew what he was trying to do. I knew that he just wanted to ram into me, take me home and never see me again. So I refused to even kiss him that night, and he took me back home within 35 minutes of me arriving at his apartment, and he told me flat out to my face that if we're not going to have sex, then this is a waste of time. It broke my heart, but at least he was a gentleman enough to drop me off at home. He did not just leave me or get me a taxi, a maxi taxi or whatever. He was a gentleman enough to get up from his couch and put me in his car and drive very awkwardly, silently so, back home, and was like, bye. Yeah, he dropped me off at home. Yeah, at least he didn't, throw me out on the street. I was very sorely, severely disappointed by that activity. And I was also very hurt. I, however, had respect for the fact that he at least was not so much of a jerk that he would just throw me out on the street because I wouldn't sleep with him. That was the story. So as to explain to you then this dream that I had and how it is that God used the face of that dude that I met when I was only 21 to explain the constitution, internal one at that, of this man in my dream. Next part.